My family ignored my graduation. They didn't expect what I announced after. Hi, my name is Sarah Mitchell. I'm 28 years old, and I work as a corporate attorney at one of the most prestigious law firms in Chicago. But 6 years ago, I was just a college student desperate for my family's approval, standing alone at my graduation ceremony while they celebrated my brother somewhere else. What they didn't know was that their absence that day would cost them everything they held dear. This is the story of how my family's favoritism destroyed them, and how I finally stopped being invisible. Growing up, I was the responsible one. The quiet daughter who got straight A's, helped with household chores, and never caused drama. My younger brother Tyler was the opposite. Charming, outgoing, and utterly irresponsible. But in my parents' eyes, the sun rose and set on him. Tyler was the athlete, the social butterfly, the one who could do no wrong. I was just there. My parents, Linda and Robert Mitchell, weren't cruel people. They didn't beat me or starve me. Their neglect was subtler, more insidious. When Tyler made the varsity soccer team, they threw him a celebration dinner. When I got accepted into pre-law at Northwestern with a partial scholarship, my mother said, "That's nice, honey," and went back to planning Tyler's birthday party. When Tyler barely graduated high school with a 2.5 GPA, they bought him a car. When I maintained a 4.0 through my first 2 years of college while working part-time, they asked if I could lend Tyler money for his fraternity dues. My grandmother Rose was the only one who saw me. She'd slip me money for textbooks and tell me, "You're going to make something of yourself, Sarah. Don't let them dim your light." She was the only family member who attended my high school graduation. My parents had been at Tyler's soccer tournament in another state. Even then, I told myself it was okay. Tyler's team had made it to finals. My graduation was just one of hundreds. It was fine. It wasn't fine. But I swallowed it down like I swallowed down everything else. I worked harder, studied longer, told myself that eventually they'd notice. Eventually they'd be proud. Eventually I'd matter as much as Tyler. College was my escape and my prison. At Northwestern I was someone. I made law review. I secured a summer internship at a top-tier firm. I graduated summa cum laude. But every achievement felt hollow because I was still chasing something I could never catch. My parents' attention. The breaking point came during my senior year. My law school graduation was scheduled for May 15th. I'd sent my parents the invitation 3 months in advance. I'd reminded them multiple times. I'd even offered to pay for their hotel. My mother assured me they'd be there. "We wouldn't miss it for the world, sweetheart," she'd said on the phone. For once, I'd heard genuine warmth in her voice. Maybe this was it. Maybe this was when things would change. 2 weeks before graduation, Tyler called me. "Hey, Sarah. So, I'm thinking of proposing to Melissa. I was hoping the family could be there. You know, make it special." "That's great, Ty," I said, genuinely happy for him. "When are you thinking?" "May 15th. It's our 3-year anniversary. I'm planning this whole beach thing. Mom and Dad are already excited about it." My blood ran cold. "Tyler, that's my graduation day." There was a pause. "Oh, but..." "Well, I mean, graduation is just sitting around listening to boring speeches, right? You'll get your diploma either way. This is a once-in-a-lifetime thing." "So is graduating from law school," I said, my voice tight. "Come on, don't be selfish. Family is supposed to support each other. Besides, you've had tons of graduations. This is my first proposal." I wanted to scream. Instead, I said, "Let me talk to Mom and Dad." When I called my parents, I expected them to understand. I expected them to tell Tyler to pick a different date. I was wrong. "Honey, we've been to so many of your graduations," Mom said. "Tyler's engagement is a really big deal. You understand, right? You're always so mature about these things." "Mom, this is law school. Do you know how hard I've worked for this?" "Of course we do, and we're very proud. But Tyler needs us right now. He's nervous about proposing. We need to be there for him." "What about being there for me?" The words came out smaller than I intended. "Sarah, don't be dramatic. You're graduating either way. Your brother only gets engaged once. Be happy for him. That's when something inside me broke. Not shattered. Breaking implies noise and mess. This was quiet, like a door closing softly. You're right, Mom. I'm being selfish. Go to Tyler's proposal. Thank you for understanding, sweetheart. We'll celebrate your graduation when we get back. They never asked if I had anyone else coming. They never thought to wonder if I'd be sitting alone in a sea of graduates, watching other families cheer and take photos, while I clapped politely for my own name with no one to share the moment. Grandma Rose had passed away 6 months earlier. She would have been there. She would have brought flowers and cried proud tears. But she was gone and I was alone. The day before my graduation, I sat in my tiny apartment and made a decision. I thought about every missed recital, every ignored achievement, every time I'd been told to be understanding while Tyler got everything. I thought about my mother's words. You're always so mature about these things. They'd mistaken my silence for acceptance. They'd confused my patience with permission. But I was done being understanding. I was done being invisible. I graduated alone. I walked across that stage, accepted my diploma summa cum laude, and listened to my accomplishments read aloud to a crowd where no one cheered for me. I smiled for my official photo, knowing that back home, my family was probably popping champagne for Tyler's engagement. That night, I received a text from my mother. Hope graduation was nice. Tyler said yes. We're so happy. Let's do dinner next week to celebrate everything. Everything. My 3 years of law school, my academic honors, my hard-earned diploma. All of it reduced to everything, as if it were equal to Tyler's engagement beach party. I didn't respond. What my family didn't know was that Grandma Rose had left me something. Not just the emotional support she'd given me my whole life, but something tangible. Her will had been read the week before my graduation. She'd left Tyler $5,000. She'd left my parents $10,000. And she'd left me her house, a beautiful Victorian in a desirable neighborhood, worth nearly $800,000, along with her entire investment portfolio, valued at over $1.2 million. The lawyer had been clear. Your grandmother wanted you to have security. She believed you were the only one who would appreciate the value of financial independence. There were conditions. I couldn't tell anyone about the inheritance until I'd graduated. Grandma Rose knew my family. She knew if they discovered the money before I finished school, they'd find ways to guilt me into sharing it, spending it on them, sacrificing my future for their comfort. So I'd kept quiet. Through the casual requests for loans I couldn't afford, through Tyler's hints that I should help with his engagement ring, through my mother's complaints about wanting to remodel her kitchen, I'd said nothing. Now, with my diploma in hand and my grandmother's legacy secured, I had power they didn't know existed. I spent the next week planning. I hired a financial advisor and a real estate lawyer. I listed Grandma Rose's house. I'd sell it and invest the money. I opened new bank accounts at a different bank from my parents. I changed my phone number and gave the new one only to people who mattered. I blocked my family on social media. Then I wrote a letter. Not an email, not a text. An actual letter, printed on good stationery, sent via certified mail so I'd know they received it. Dear Mom, Dad, and Tyler. Thank you for teaching me the most valuable lesson of my life. That family is a choice, not an obligation. You didn't come to my law school graduation. You chose Tyler's engagement proposal over celebrating my achievement. This wasn't the first time you chose Tyler over me, but it will be the last time it matters. I'm writing to inform you that I will no longer be participating in this family. I won't be coming to Sunday dinners, holiday gatherings, or Tyler's wedding. I won't be available for loans, favors, or emergency babysitting. I won't be the understanding, mature daughter who accepts being treated as an afterthought. I know you'll say I'm overreacting. You'll tell me graduation wasn't that important. You'll remind me that family forgives. But forgiveness isn't the same as forgetting, and I haven't forgotten a single moment of being invisible in my own family. Grandma Rose saw me. She knew what you refused to acknowledge, that I was worth celebrating, worth supporting, worth showing up for. She left me her house and her investments, ensuring I'd never need to rely on people who've spent my whole life proving I don't matter to them. I hope Tyler's proposal was everything you wanted. I hope the beach was beautiful and the photos were perfect. I hope it was worth missing your daughter's law school graduation. I'm doing well, in case you were wondering. Passed the bar exam. I've accepted a position at Henderson and Associates in Chicago. I'm moving into my own place, one I bought with Grandma's legacy. I'm building a life surrounded by people who actually show up for me. This isn't revenge. This is me finally understanding my worth. Don't contact me. Tara. I mailed 3 copies. One to my parents' house, one to Tyler's apartment, one to my Aunt Karen, who I knew would make sure everyone in the extended family heard about it. 3 days later, my old phone started blowing up. I kept it active just to see their reactions. 37 missed calls. 64 text messages. The progression was predictable. First came confusion. Sarah, what is this letter about? Call me. Then anger. How dare you air family business like this? We don't deserve this treatment. Then guilt-tripping. We were so proud of you. You're breaking your mother's heart. Dad again. Then financial concern. Grandma left you her house? We need to talk about this. There are legal issues with estates. Tyler. And finally, fake apologies. We're sorry we missed graduation. We didn't realize it meant so much to you. Can we meet for lunch? I didn't respond to any of them. A week later, Tyler showed up at my old apartment. I'd already moved out, but my former roommate called me. Your brother is here banging on the door, saying he needs to talk to you about family business. Should I call the police? Tell him I don't live there anymore, and if he doesn't leave, yes, call the police. 2 weeks after that, my mother tracked down my new work number. I have no idea how. I suspect she called every Henderson and Associates in Chicago until she found me. My assistant transferred the call before I could stop her. Sarah, please. We need to talk. Her voice was strained, desperate. A small, petty part of me enjoyed it. There's nothing to discuss, Mom. You can't just cut us out of your life over one mistake. One mistake. Mom, this has been 28 years of mistakes. Missing graduation was just the last one I'll tolerate. We're your family. You can't just walk away. Watch me. What about the money? Grandma's estate. There are inheritance laws. You should share that with Tyler. It's only fair. And there it was. The real reason for the call. Not to apologize. Not to repair our relationship. To get money. Grandma left her estate exactly how she wanted. If she'd wanted Tyler to have more than $5,000, she would have given it to him. She knew exactly what she was doing. She was old. She didn't understand. She understood perfectly. She understood that I was the only grandchild who visited her every week. The only one who helped her with groceries and doctor's appointments. The only one who didn't ask her for money. She understood that Tyler only called when he needed something. That's not fair. You're right. It wasn't fair. But it's done now. Sarah, please. We're sorry. We made a mistake. Just come home and we'll talk about this. I am home, Mom. I'm home in a life where people value me. Where my achievements matter. Where I'm not invisible. You were never invisible to us. Yes, I was. And I'm done trying to make you see me. Hung up. She called back immediately. I blocked the work number. Over the next month, the attempts continued. My father sent emails. Tyler sent Instagram DMs from a new account. My Aunt Karen called, playing mediator, suggesting family therapy. I ignored them all. What I didn't ignore was building my new life. I threw myself into my work. I made partner track within 8 months, something that normally takes years. I used Grandma's money wisely, investing most of it but allowing myself one splurge. I took myself on a graduation trip to Italy. Alone. It was glorious. I made friends who actually showed up. Colleagues who celebrated my wins. A boyfriend, Marcus, who thought my achievements were incredible and told me so regularly. People who made me feel seen. 6 months after my letter, I heard through the grapevine, my cousin Amanda, who'd always been kind to me, that things weren't going well for my family. Tyler and Melissa had broken up. Apparently, the engagement proposal had been a disaster. Melissa's parents had flown in for the surprise proposal, but Tyler had gotten drunk the night before and slept through the whole thing. Melissa was furious about the wasted trip and the humiliation in front of her parents. She'd returned the ring within a week and blocked Tyler on everything. My parents had spent thousands on the beach proposal setup, the photographer, the celebratory dinner. All wasted. Tyler had moved back home, unemployed and depressed. My mother had been bragging to everyone about Tyler's engagement, about becoming a mother-in-law, about future grandchildren. When Melissa left, the gossip spread through our entire extended family. People were asking questions. Why did Melissa leave? What happened? And inevitably someone asked, weren't Linda and Robert supposed to be at Sarah's graduation that day? Aunt Karen, bless her, had apparently been very forthcoming with my letter. The family knew. They knew my parents had skipped my law school graduation for Tyler's failed proposal. They knew about Grandma Rose's inheritance and why she'd given it to me. They knew I'd cut contact. At Thanksgiving, only a handful of relatives showed up to my parents' house. Christmas, even fewer. The family had taken sides, and I wasn't there to defend myself, which meant my achievements spoke for themselves. Law school graduate. Associate at a top firm. Financial independence. Meanwhile, Tyler was 26, living at home, working part-time at a sporting goods store. My cousin Amanda sent me updates occasionally, always respectful of my boundaries. Just wanted you to know people are asking about you at family things. Asking how you're doing. They're proud of you, Sarah. Just thought you should know. It was nice to hear, but I didn't need it. I'd spent so long needing my family's approval that I'd forgotten to approve of myself. Now I did, and it was enough. A year after my letter, I got a wedding invitation. Not Tyler's. Tyler was still single and living at home. This was my cousin Julia's wedding. She'd included a handwritten note. I know you're not talking to your parents, and I respect that. But I'd love for you to be there. You don't have to sit with them. You don't have to acknowledge them. But you're my family too, and I want you there on my day. I almost didn't go. But Julia had always been kind to me, and I realized I was letting my parents' toxicity rob me of relationships with family members who did value me. So I went. I wore a stunning dress, brought Marcus as my date, and walked into that wedding reception with my head high. My parents were already there. I watched my mother's face when she saw me. Shock, hope, pain. All of it flickered across her features in seconds. Tyler looked uncomfortable, tugging at his collar. My father just stared. I smiled at Julia, congratulated her warmly, and found my assigned seat, deliberately far from my parents' table. Throughout the reception, I felt their eyes on me, but I didn't look over. I laughed with my cousins, danced with Marcus, celebrated Julia's happiness. During the cocktail hour, my mother approached me. I saw her coming and considered walking away, but something made me stay. Sarah. Her voice was soft, tentative. You look beautiful. Thank you. How have you been? Wonderful, actually. I made junior partner last month. Her eyes widened. That's amazing. Congratulations. Thank you. An awkward silence stretched between us. She was waiting for me to make this easier, to be understanding, to be mature. The old Sarah would have. The new Sarah just waited. I've missed you, she finally said. Have you? Of course I have. You're my daughter. I'm your daughter when it's convenient. When Tyler doesn't need something more. When there isn't something more important happening. That's not fair. We love you. Maybe you do. But love without action is just words, Mom. And I've had enough words. What do you want from us, Sarah? We've apologized. We've tried to reach out. What more can we do? And there it was. The question that proved she still didn't understand. She thought this was about making me feel better, about saying the right words to fix things. She didn't understand that some things, once broken, can't be fixed. They can only be mourned and moved past. I don't want anything from you, Mom. That's the point. I don't need your approval anymore. I don't need your support. I don't need you to show up. I've built a life where I matter, where people celebrate me, where I'm not an afterthought. And that life is better than anything you could offer me now. Tears filled her eyes. You're really not coming back? No, I'm not. What about Tyler's wedding someday? Or when your father and I get older? Family occasions. I'll be at family occasions that matter to me. Like Julia's wedding. But I won't be at your house for holidays. I won't be your daughter who comes running when you call. I won't be the person you lean on while ignoring my needs. We never meant to ignore you. But you did. Intention doesn't erase impact. She nodded slowly, tears running down her cheeks. I'm sorry, Sarah. I'm truly sorry. I believe you. But sorry doesn't change the past, and it doesn't obligate me to give you my future. I walked away then, back to Marcus, back to my table, back to my life. I felt lighter somehow, having said what needed to be said without anger, without bitterness, just with truth. My father approached me later, near the end of the reception. Your mother is devastated. I imagine she is. You're really going to throw away your whole family over one mistake. I looked at him, really looked at him, and saw a man who still didn't understand, who thought graduation was one mistake, rather than the culmination of decades of being overlooked. Dad, I'm not throwing anything away. I'm just done carrying something that was never mine to carry in the first place. What does that mean? It means I spent 28 years trying to earn something you should have given freely. Your attention, your pride, your presence. I'm done trying. If you want a relationship with me, you'll have to earn it now. You'll have to show up. You'll have to prove that I matter as much as Tyler. Tyler is struggling right now. He needs us. He's always needed you. And you've always been there. The difference is, I needed you too, and you never were. I left the wedding shortly after. I heard later that my mother cried through most of the reception after our conversation. Part of me felt guilty. The old part that was trained to prioritize everyone else's feelings over my own pain. But the new part, the part that Grandma Rose had nurtured and that my success had strengthened, knew I'd done nothing wrong. Now 2 years after my graduation, I'm thriving. I'm on track for senior partner. I'm engaged to Marcus, who thinks the sun rises and sets on me and tells me so often. I bought a beautiful condo with the money from selling Grandma's house. I have friends who show up for me, colleagues who respect me, a life full of people who see me. My family still tries occasionally. Birthday cards arrive that I don't open. My mother sends emails about family news that I don't read. Tyler sent a friend request on LinkedIn that I declined. But the desperate attempts have faded. They've accepted that I meant what I said. I'm not angry anymore. I don't hate them. I simply don't think about them much. They're like characters from a book I read long ago. Familiar but distant, people who shaped me but no longer define me. Sometimes I wonder if I was too harsh. Then I remember sitting alone at my graduation, watching other families celebrate, feeling invisible in the most important moment of my academic life. I remember every missed recital, every forgotten birthday, every time Tyler's needs came before mine. And I remember that protecting my peace isn't cruelty. It's survival. Last week, I passed by my old neighborhood. I saw my father getting mail from the mailbox, moving slowly, looking older than I remembered. I felt a pang of something. Not quite regret, not quite sadness, just the ghost of the relationship we never had. Kept driving. Marcus asked me later if I was okay. I thought about it honestly before answering. Yeah, I said. I really am. And I meant it. Because the thing about cutting toxic people out of your life, even when they're family, even when society says you shouldn't, is that it creates space. Space for peace. Space for people who actually value you. Space for the life you deserve. My family thought I'd come crawling back. They thought I'd forgive and forget, be understanding, be mature. They were wrong. I did something better than forgiving. I moved on. To anyone reading this who sees themselves in my story, You don't owe anyone your presence, not even family. Especially not family who's shown you repeatedly that you don't matter to them. You deserve to be celebrated. You deserve to be seen. And if the people who are supposed to love you can't do that, you deserve to find people who will. My name is Sarah Mitchell. I'm a successful attorney, engaged to a wonderful man, surrounded by people who celebrate my wins. I'm happy. I'm whole. I'm finally truly seen. And it only cost me a family that never really saw me in the first place.